So I'm going to put my IGY hat on first with the help of my colleague Gilly Wanowich, our regional director, and Kristen Soto from PR, to sort of walk through for the next, and we're not going to take the whole 45, but I do want to go through some information to start off, to give you information on what is happening post-hurricanes. So one of the things that I would like to sort of, before we get into IGY Marinas, is this. The Charter Professional Committee represented this industry incredibly well. And I would like, on behalf of the 500 employees of IGY, to thank the IYBA for all of their support to our marinas and our 500 employees. You made a difference to the information we received by the questions you brought and also supporting us. We will not forget that. We've been a sponsor of this event for over 7 years, and it is not a discussion, and it will continue to move forward. Can't guarantee, but it's a positive direction. So one of the things my team asked me to do is not to drop my shoulders or give you a boring, oh my gosh, we're down type of attitude. And actually that literally happened this morning. So I'm going to get into giving you information on the post-hurricane update as it affects IGY and the wider region, and then tell you about some exciting things. I will then shift over to BWA, we'll get into Antarctica, and we'll have a slight break. Is everyone okay? Anyone feeling lightheaded? We're getting AC. Anyone not breathing normally? All right, that's a good sign. No one's sitting in the front, so I will dodge anything that flies at me. Also appreciated on a personal note, my wife cannot believe that you've asked me back again. She sees me wear a suit once a year and she cracks up, but it's a good thing. So let me get started. As we move through, what's happening in the region? I'm going to give you sort of an overview on where IGY stands. We've grown to 19 marinas, and that's because of the employees and the business we've been able to do. So right now we have 19 marinas in 10 different countries. We're the largest international marina company in the world. Why am I telling you that? So that when you hear information from me, it comes from a collective base, not just one marina. We have 3,000 slips under management. We can service 8,000 vessels per annum, and we will touch 1,000 vessels over 80 feet during the year. That's unique vessels. IGY will service 62% of the yachts cruising the Caribbean. We have a great impact, and it is because of our professional, collective view of the industry. We're able to do that. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, we're in trouble. All right. So moving forward, why are we expanding? We're expanding because our industry, everyone in this room, it is growing. We are half the size of the cruise ship industry. So when you look at our impact, our size, or 32 billion, is what we represent as an industry, everyone in this room. Why are we growing? Number one, the people. We're able to bring a customer service level through IGY Marinas, not only from a point of view of the hard assets. That's the easy part. Capital improvements. You deal with banks. One of our best accolades is when we walk into a room, a bank listens. Why? Because they're pretty much sure we're going to deliver a product that guarantees their investment. And it's very important, I also state this, 90% of our industry is 80 persons or below. IGY has 500 employees. Publicly traded companies have 4,000 employees. So as you can understand, everyone in this room worries about the lights going off, hey, how do we pay for this paper, and so forth. On different levels, but it's important to understand that we are providing information to the market specific to a collective network. Going through just some other points, customer service, I believe we're the best. And it's proven working with the IYBA, we pick up the phone when you call. We understand the pressure of we're not having a good charter. We understand the calls of the charter's going great, but what's more important is what we can do to help for your charter or different destinations. It's very important to us. As I'll go through post-hurricane updates, of course, we're dealing with privacy, security, facilities, but most importantly, fun. This is not a boring business. We're not selling widgets. Everyone here is to communicate information, and we at IGY take that very seriously. This photo was taken for you yesterday. It is the team at St. Martin, Isle de Sol, and it's the team at Yacht Haven Grand in St. Thomas. And that middle line couldn't be more important. We look forward to taking your lines this season. We will be open. That is not a debate. The debate is the factor and degree. So if you have charters, thanks to the CPC, the Charter Professional Committee, make an informed decision. Will things be different? Yes. But we're also making sure that if we are sending boats there, it meets your level of service. Everything from the amenities down the line. So that's the message I'm communicating. Now, other destinations, of course, were affected a little less, others were affected a little more. So you'll hear about that. But please reach out to us for specific information. And I'd like to thank people like Glenn, Lara Jo, Daphne. Did I say Jeff already? But what's important is your specific questions help us with informed decisions. We understand it's your business, and it's our business too. Going through here, what's happened? Okay, the marinas will be open for the winter season. That's all of our marinas. Blue Haven is currently assessing their damage, but they are open to do concierge servicing of vessels. Okay, I just spoke to Adam this morning. Adam Foster, Australian. He is fine and his family is fine. He's just working through his direction. As you can understand, and I'm going to go off script here for a little bit, many people have said, but Bert, there's a boat there, or there's a boat over there. The reason is insurance companies work very carefully. So you can't remove a boat until they figure out, and we have resources to move boats, and we will, but as you can understand, the process has to go through the proper course. But the important thing is we have the people and resources to make your charter season a successful one. Now, to the degree and factor you make your decisions, all based on your professional understanding of boots on the ground. St. Bart's, we're getting a lot of requests for information on St. Bart's. Here's the information we received from an official letter via WhatsApp on St. Bart's. I'm not going to read it because I think you can all understand, but they are moving and progressing to be open and have a season. And that's very important because St. Bart's is a very big catalyst for the region, for us in St. Thomas, and of course directly in St. Martin. Their hotels are expecting guests, so they are expecting and are taking bookings, as is IGY. And these are the list of businesses that were open. I have to applaud the resilience of the Caribbean, but also the impacts. Our heart goes out to all areas affected. We're just giving you information on areas that we can give you specifics. You can always email me directly and I'll gladly forward you this. What IGY is trying to do is give you factual information so that you can say, well, Bert, is it black or white? These are the businesses that are open. I understand the airports are moving to open, if not open already, but we will communicate what we know as best we can. St. Thomas, we will be open for season. They were less affected than St. Martin. A lot of the greenery is coming back, believe it or not, a couple of weeks after. We will have security. We've always had security. Some of our compliance codes have to be met at that. To let you know what IGY did during these times, we hosted FEMA at Yacht Haven Grand and also the FBI. They needed a place, we made it available. We've also contributed to many causes, but the point is, on site, on the ground, this is what was created. Now, everyone saw the impacts, and I love what my EVP said. There was behavior that was not conducive to normal society in St. Martin. That has been addressed by the government, and they're moving forward. That did not go unnoticed and is actioned accordingly. So the island shops are coming back. Of course, I think for our audience today, Yacht Haven Grand is a bit more important than American Yacht Harbor, but the point is we're rolling recovery forward. Blue Haven, their directions being assessed. That's what I got this morning. Are they open? They're open to do the concierge. Many vessels use it as a stop-off point. Adam and Portia are two of the best in the industry. They will provide provisioning services to a vessel in that region to support the overall efforts. Their docks were damaged, but they are looking to do that. So they will advise us, I will advise you. Now, I'm going to move on real quickly before I turn it over to Gilly to discuss some specifics. I want to give you some excitement. We now are in Costa Rica. We're in Costa Rica with the IGY Marina Village. As we look at other destinations, thanks to you, we know what you want. You want a good price, you want excellent service specific to what is available to larger yachts, you want to be able to charter out of it. As of last week, they're an IGY destination. So we will be providing information specific to Costa Rica in that. We are very excited to be working with not only Costa Rica, but the specific developers of this project. They've got a grand vision. Just to let you know where it is, it's on the southern tip on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. And that was obviously taken from the internet, so don't sue me on that one. Here's a view of the marina specifically. It's got a lot of benefits. Right there is the marina and the surrounding area. What we're noticing in the charter market is the importance of anchorages and your ability to offer a really good charter. This destination is really moving forward in that regard. Just check my time. Okay. Here's one of the best things working with an IGY Marina, especially these developers, they listen. They listen because we listen to the IYBA, specific brokers to say, well, Bert, what would really be nice is a place to do this. This is the type of impact we're able to communicate specific to areas. So they'll develop different areas and so forth. The maximum length vessel they can take is 500 feet, maximum being 35 and 12-foot draft. So we're able to take larger vessels in the customary IGY style. And I'm just going to go through this just to get the game rolling. Specific to that, concrete docks, on-site restaurants, basically a full rolling support. Now, our other marina, before I turn it over to Gilly, is first time in the Mediterranean, we are in Sète, France. We are expanding the portfolio. This will be a managed facility, and we're very excited. So we'll be able to support you in the Mediterranean. We're not going to stop here. We have other marinas, but we have to have controlled growth because of information you give us, what's important, what are new destinations. And this is a rendering of what the marina will look like, very similar to Al de Sol, to sort of give you guys a background of what it'll be like. And just a location of Sète, if you see from there's Nice, and you go down the coast, that star is Sète. And there's some of the information there. What was very encouraging is the service level of our industry is getting more and more important. When you guys call, we have to deliver or at least give a very professional explanation of what you need. We're finding the Mediterranean marinas, South American marinas, it's not business as usual. You guys have specific needs, and we need to be able to accommodate them. Just to give you the cruising areas from that side, very close to the Balearics. And now I'm going to turn it over to our regional director, Mr. Gilly Wanowich. Don't let his young age fool you. He has managed 5 of our facilities, including Yacht Haven Grand, recipient of the Super Yacht Marina of the Year Award. Gilly, recently promoted to our regional director, will walk through some operational specifics and about some marinas closer to home. And then I'll speak back to you on some stuff. Everyone okay? All right. Yep.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I just want to take a quick second to emphasize a little bit on what Bert was speaking of the islands and the condition. I was fortunate actually to be a part of the IGY team to head down to St. Thomas. I was there 4 days after the eye of Irma passed over, between Irma and Maria. If you can imagine, some of these islands got 2 Category 5 hurricanes within I think it was about 10-day period. Talk about resilience. I know Bert used that word. The staff, the people that I got to interact with during the 3 or 4 days I was down there was truly miraculous, inspiring. The best thing we can do as an industry going forward is to drive our businesses down there. So I know everyone's having questions from owners and charters and captains. What's going on down there? What can we do to help? Honestly, the best thing outside of sending, of course, aid is to go down there and run your businesses. If it means making a 3-month season to a 3-week season, any little bit helps. These islands are going to get back up on their feet quickly if we can do our part to give back to what they've given to us over all these years for our industry. So again, just if you have any questions regarding the specific conditions of facilities or the islands in general, again, you can reach out to IGY or to Bert specifically, and we'll be as transparent as possible. We've been holding weekly meetings with a group of brokers and agents, basically a call where we give out as much information we can of all the islands. And again, we're transparent about the state of our facilities and the state of the islands. the important thing is we just need to do what we can to again, drive business back down there, just to help stimulate the economy and give back to the people of the islands. St. Thomas was I spent 4 years down there, so it's got a little bit of a personal effect on me. But again, the people, their spirits down there, they were so high just 4 days after Irma, and they're even higher now. We speak to them obviously every day, and they're pushing forward. They're ready for us to get back down there as an industry. So I just want to impart that with you guys, and hopefully you can share that message with your respective clients. So I wanted to touch on a few facilities. I'm sure you will have questions, where else can we go if there's, some stubborn folks that just don't want to experience their typical sort of milk run this season, be it the BVIs, USVI, St. Martin. Of course, IGY does have other facilities that were not impacted whatsoever by the storms. This is Rodney Bay Marina, which many of you are hopefully familiar with. It's a little bit outside the typical milk route of many charter yachts. It's a very diverse facility, 232 slips, can accommodate mega yachts up to 285. It's also got a boat yard, mostly for smaller vessels in the sort of 30 to 70 foot range. Basically full service, all amenities, and St. Lucia as an island is absolutely incredible. It's pristine, it's great hiking, quiet anchorages. So again, we encourage you, consider this facility as an alternate, or at least to hit at some point during the season. Red Frog Beach. This is a exceptionally special location. I had the opportunity to visit it last year for a few days, and each day I was there, I literally woke up kicking myself for not bringing my wife down, because it is absolutely stunning. It's somewhere that you definitely want to visit, experience. It's gaining popularity with the mega yacht community. That long dock you see there on the outside can accommodate vessels up to 300 feet. It's completely protected, as you can see in these mangroves here. That's the way that water looks like a lake. It's literally like that every single day. It's completely stunning. It's on the Caribbean side of Panama, and it's attached to an eco-friendly resort. So you step off the boat, you have full access to sort of a boutique resort-like amenity or atmosphere with great surfing, local dining, and basically people just take off and do anything from kite surfing to fishing to surfing. It's incredible. This, of course, is a little bit closer to home here. We launched this last year in December, I believe it was. Yes, last year, December. It is One Island Park in Miami Beach. It's a privately owned facility that IGY has the fortune of managing. It is approximately 8 mega yacht berths. We can take up to 800 feet in length, so it is one of the largest or private mega yacht purpose-built facilities, certainly in the Western Hemisphere. There is no mega yacht out there right now that we cannot accommodate. 800 feet in length, 40 feet in draft. It's conveniently located directly inside the government cut inlet. I'm going to go into a little bit further, more detail on this in a minute. I think it has probably some further interest for you folks, given that it's right here in our backyard. So again, as I mentioned, the highest quality mega yacht power up to 600 amps. We have full vessel concierge. We work closely with BWA Yachting. They are on site often providing services for these vessels. Walking distance, the crew last year were just totally shocked by how easy it was to literally get on their skateboards, their bicycles, or even just go for a casual walk over the MacArthur Bridge, and lo and behold, they have all of South Beach and its dining entertainment at their disposal. We are fully secure, 24/7 security. We also have the benefit of being next door neighbors to the Sector Miami U.S. Coast Guard, so that's not a bad neighbor to have. People tend to stay away from causing trouble when they see a bunch of cutters and about 500 Coast Guard personnel next door. And we're, again, just a short ride to Miami International. Here's a little bit of a satellite image to show you just how convenient it is. We are outside of the captain of the port zone. A lot of people don't know what that means. Essentially, as you know, there's the cruise ship channel, where about 6 or 7 ships line up on any given day during the winter. Security is pretty tight. You have to give 96 hours notice whenever there's 2 or more ships in port to either enter or depart that channel. We are outside that channel. So we have the luxury, or our customers do, of being able to arrive and depart as they wish. So if an owner wants to go for a sunset sail, or if the weather all of a sudden turns and the vessel needs to go for a sea trial or what have you, they can do so. There's no need to give notice to, outside of doing a security call, there's no need to give notice in advance to any authority. So that's been a huge amenity that we're really trying to push, because I think it's, convenience you can't put a price on. Just another couple of facts here. Because the way the facility was designed, essentially there's a driveway that surrounds the perimeter of the property, which allows us to bring any third-party service that a vessel may need, whether it's cranes, whether it's fueling, regulated garbage, mechanic trucks, boom trucks, anything that the vessel may need that they typically might have to go to a yard otherwise for, they can actually do this here at One Island Park. So that's very special to have a facility that, on the surface looks like a private luxury marina, which it is. It also has the functionality of a boat yard. So we're really excited about you're in a metropolitan area. You're also, only about 40 minutes, obviously without traffic, to Fort Lauderdale. So support services, very convenient. Crew, will walk over or take their vehicle over to the Whole Foods, Best Buy. There's all these department stores just across the bridge over in South Beach. So that's really not an issue. And plus, with the convenience of pulling up alongside with big trucks, we get, National Marine, so on and so forth, can pull right up to the vessel and offload. It's extremely easy, and the crew can obviously get their job done quicker and get back to attending to their guests. Here's just another example of just how private and secure. I mean, you can't get much closer than this. You drive your vehicle, owner gets out, steps right onto the passerelle, and he's on his vessel. Here's some basic contact information. Sarah Cott is our general manager down there. We encourage you guys to reach out in advance. We are effectively open. We do fill up during certain events, especially like Art Basel, which is coming up, New Year's, Miami Boat Show. So the sooner you can give us some notice, the better. And we look forward to having you down there. And with that, I will hand it over back to Bert. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gilly. So now, to sort of move forward, a lot of questions have been asked, well, what next? So the net takeaway is this. Many marinas will be open in the Caribbean season, some unaffected, some affected. The best thing to do from a professional standpoint is get the correct information. And thanks, Gilly, for reminding me. The reason I gave that extra shout out to IYBA and the CPC committee is when I called Cindy and asked if we could have a call on the industry, the smile came through the phone. We've had a call for the last 3 weeks, I think 3 weeks, specific to the industry. What can we do? And I cannot thank you enough for that. That is something that was truly amazing that you did. You took your time out. So wrapping up, I want to show you this before I introduce what I'm about to say next. This is pulled from the Economist magazine. It's a heavy read, but it's a good read. Just to give you an idea, the damage from Irma is estimated at almost close to, we're talking as a level of their GDP. Now we're going to a next level. We're looking at where do we go next. The GDP of St. Martin, we're looking at about 1.9 billion. The estimated impact of damage from Irma is around 2.5. Now, IGY is confident that we'll be able to create the infrastructure to bring back our marinas. It's just a degree and factor of capital improvements and so forth. But this information I thought was very important. Population, 38,000, and you can run down the line. What's not here is Puerto Rico, because of course this came out before Marie. So, what we're facing is, for our industry, and when I say industry, you've seen this a million times. I got to get a new slide, but you've seen this. What's important is we represent an industry. Whether it's, when I say automotive, everyone nods their head. When I say yachting, they have that blank stare. Well, we need to stop having that blank stare. Whether we're in the education, like MPT, whether we're in provisioning, National Marine, whether we're in brokerage, like Denison, or electric, like MHG, we are the industry. Our decisions impact whether you're in the Bahamas or Antigua. So I bring this chart up to say, just a reminder, a vessel at 55 meters or 180 feet brings in about $4 million a year. And all the fleet managers in here, hats off to you. You know these figures in detail. Now, why am I presenting the GDP and why am I presenting our impact? IGY has launched a fund to specifically help the recovery of the affected islands. It was important that we look from our industry perspective where we can help best. I'm not, and it's strange, I'm not asking you to in any way give money to the fund. I want you to, but what's more important is understanding what we can do together to make a long-standing impact to what we can do. And it was very important that we launch this to help. This is not going to IGY Marinas. This is going to the affected areas specifically, and we are committed to make an impact. So, when we speak to the government of St. Thomas or Puerto Rico, we're looking at infrastructure development. It is going to take a massive, massive effort. Now, we'll still have a rolling recovery, but we wanted to do something. Now, like I said, we've made our properties available to FEMA. We've made our properties available to the FBI. And they looked at it, and the good news is the FBI looked at a great infrastructure, and now they may take a permanent base out of Yacht Haven Grand. We did that. Not IGY, we did that. We showed A, a professional nature to what we were doing, B, the resources to make a safe environment, and C, we acted in that regard. So I am asking this. Take the time to get to know what available resources are out there and who's helping. If in any way we can promote this fund, it would be appreciated. Now, of course, during today's seminar, we are focusing on a specific fundraising efforts, and we applaud that, and we will give to that. I just want to make sure you understand what we are doing as an industry together. And then the specifics will be on our website, and our goal is to raise $5 million. Yes, a lofty goal. Was it debated? I guarantee you that. But we are trying to make a specific impact to countries, because we had calls from marinas that weren't IGY Marinas. And we gave them the very same information and support as if they were not in the network, if they were in the network. But I'm just giving you some background to what we're doing. Now, I'm going to move on to save us some time because, you know, as we go through here. So on behalf, once again, of our 500 employees, thank you. Thank you for being here today. You being here today even says a lot to us as a company as we make decisions. So I know your time's valuable, and we're going to move forward. So we've got a little bit of time. Are there any specific questions that I can either dodge or nod my head with a lot of concern, or I can answer, and then I'll get us going. So we're running ahead early, which is great, but I also don't want to sit here and build up your time in that regard. So if there's no questions, if there are any questions, let me know.
Hold on, I'm coming with a mic. Hold on.
Hi. I have a question about the island's transportation available for the yachts, the cruise. As you see, the devastation of the cars and stuff. Will there be taxis, rent-a-cars? How will they get around the islands? I mean, that's a big, I mean, they get off the airport, but they can't walk to the boat. They can't walk and get all the provisions. How is that being handled?
Excellent question. Our chairman, Andrew Farkas, flew there yesterday. Where is there? He went to St. Thomas. He went to St. Martin. Do not quote me on anything I say on this. I mean it. Andrew's very particular. Andrew got around that island. And Andrew got around that island being driven by our general manager, and he was stopped many times, our general manager, in a good way to say, hey, what's going on? How are things doing? He was able to get around St. Martin. Now, there's certain areas, but he did not advise me. Bert, what happened? Let me tell you what's going on. Yes, sir. Let me listen. That's exactly what I did. He says, I was able to get around. St. Thomas, the west end is better. So around Yacht Haven Grand, there were no issues. So, and let me give it this way to you. It was as though we were dealing with a charter guest, technically. So he was able to get around the west end of St. Thomas without issues. The east end, a little difficult. That means our property over in American Harbor, you guys may be familiar with Red Hook. But St. Martin, he was able to get around. I spoke to Brian yesterday because of this meeting, and he said, Bert, I have electricity. By the way, guys, St. Martin actually has their electric lines underground, so electricity is coming back quickly, and they were able to at least advise me that they were mobile. So at present, I'm not aware of any, in two aspects, of any transportation problems to and from the marina, without any issues, or general areas. Of course, if you go further out, difficult. But we were able to drive a vehicle with a very important individual, by all regards, without him having to give any specifics in that. If I said that wrong, please don't tell Andrew I said that wrong, okay? Next question real quick.
Hold on. Trish, I'm coming.
I'm sorry I was late, so you may have covered it, but I'm not clear as to what you're doing with your fund,
Thank
where
you.
the funds are going to go.
So here's the challenge, guys. Water, clothing, food, it's going to happen, okay? Whether it's Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, Texas, it's going to happen. What happens when you have and I'm going to go to a specific point. 90% of our businesses are 80 people and less. In fact, when you go to 60%, we're talking 10 people. So let me give you an example. What we are looking to do with this fund is look at infrastructure, specific to what are we looking at to help power, to help specific water, or a boat washer's equipment was blown away, or a scuba diver's front of his shop is gone. This is a level of support that's not going to hit, because the old adage, yes, we can give all the food and water, and I support it fully, but there does come a time, guess what, 2 months, 3 months, where things pile up, and we're looking at bringing back an industry. So what we care about is, we're going to have a great marina. Whether it's today or tomorrow, it's going to happen at all our locations. But is that bartender, is he happy there? Is the waitress happy there? Is the guy who washes the boat happy there? What do we need to do to bring back an industry? So we're looking at 100% of the funds, and I want to repeat, this is not to just help IGY in areas. This is to help the entire area. So when the governments call us, we're able to say, well, let's really look at what you need. Let's listen to you first and make an impact. I hope that answers the question, but what we're trying to do is specifically help the industry build back along while it's recovering. Because there's a lot of messages can go out there. And I'd like to, Yacht Global, all the yachts that are helping. We now are trying to think ahead, what's going to happen 2 months now, when the grass is greener and the place looks great. So we are looking specifically to help industry development in that regard. I hope that answers the question.
Through the government?
No, through IGY. This is IGY's fund specifically.
But are you saying you just said that you're going to ask the government what they need?
Well, they're coming to us. Yeah, they're coming to us. So it's a 501(c), which will be tax deductible, and thank you for that. We're going to hear from all concerned, and I appreciate the clarification. This is not a government fund, okay? This is a fund that IGY is introducing to the market to help the entire region look at what we can do. We will get information from IYBA, we'll get information from governments, we'll get information from people. So we needed a way I can look you in the eye to say, we did this with this money. We're still ahead of time, but I'm going to move on. Any other questions? Excellent. As Gilly said, IGY works very closely with many different companies, but I'm now going to put my hat on back to Master of Ceremonies, so this is where we get to roll through. Is everyone good? Okay, I got a nod from Jeff, so that's a positive. He's growing the beard again, so we're all concerned. Okay, we're going to have, question?
Where am I running?
We'll take the last question, then I'll move on, guys, but we're ahead of time.
So you had the nice list of restaurants and hotels that were open in St. Thomas and St. Martin. Was that compiled by your employees, or how did you guys get that information?
Good point. IGY has made a commitment not to give you any information unless we confirmed it. What I got from that list was from the St. Bart's, specific to St. Bart's. I will get you the list of open businesses, but I can't, for St. Thomas, but I can say this. Hooters, I cannot confirm nor deny that I specifically saw that plate. I do know, my point is this, 4 days after the hurricane, those businesses on St. Thomas were open. There are businesses on St. Martin open. Yes, you have to do your research, especially in your profession, but I will get you a list specific to the businesses that are open. But St. Thomas was less impacted than St. Martin, and my point about that company, which I do not endorse, nor will you tell my wife I said that. is that they were open 4 days after in that regard. So St. Thomas is a much more robust infrastructure specific to the impacts of the weather.
So, like, the reason I ask is because we see so much conflicting information, like, okay, Nikki Beach is destroyed, or the Willie Tees is up on a beach. So I don't know if your employees or whoever you guys use could give us an update or pictures or something that confirms, like, yes, it's coming up in 2 months, 3 months, or whatever it is. That would be super helpful.
Yeah, I thank you for that. In fact, that's why we had the charter call, the charter call on Tuesday. It was affecting us. You know, as the head, as one of the employees who deals with marketing, you can imagine my phone rang with people saying, "Bert, I'm so sorry." And then I had calls saying, "Bert, we're here and we're fine." So to that effect, on Tuesday, next week Tuesday, we do have a call with the Charter Professional Committee and the wider industry that we are giving specific information. And thank you for that. By the way, we're all faced with that. We were faced with the unruly behavior and so forth. But one of the things we're making a commitment is to tell you the truth. Okay? If the marinas aren't ready, I'll let you know. Blue Haven is not operational at present, but they are operational for concierge. So my job, and specific to the information with a very good question, is to get you correct information, such as there St. Martin or St. Thomas specific to open facilities. And then just to close out, once again to those who just came in, I'm just doing the fancy there. This picture was taken yesterday. Fact. Added to the presentation, which Cindy yelled at me for bringing in late this morning, but it was still ready. So here we go. All right, I'm going to move forward if no other questions. And of course, we'll be here. I'll be here all day. So by all means, if you have any specifics, I'll make sure to get your emails and go from there. So on behalf of IGY, thank you. I'm going to